Okay, let's get started. I think you know you're in the right class. I think Advanced Business Statistics, and my name's McCarthy. As you can see on the syllabus, where do you find the syllabus? You're going to go to Canvas. And you go to Canvas, go to the tab way off to the left of your syllabus, and I have the first 4 weeks up here, but the whole thing's right there. You can download it right there and see the whole thing. But the first 4 weeks happen to be right here, all the way up to your first quiz, which will be, what is it, Tuesday, September 24th is your first quiz. Many of you had me for 301, so you know the routine, you know the rules, but we got to help everybody who hasn't been here, who hasn't experienced this before. It seems strict, but the reason for you guys who've never had me before, the reason the rules seem really strict is because it's the only way I found to be absolutely fair to everybody. And that is to not give anybody any favors whatsoever, to not say yes to anything anybody asks me, and always no. It's the only way I could be fair to everybody, is to treat everybody exactly the same way, which is awful. That's the only way I can figure out how to do it. This is my beginning of my 35th and last final year ever. So, thanks, appreciate that. But all it means is that I'm not going to be too rough. So you lucked out by getting me in my very last year. But at the same time, we got to leave here understanding certain things. Matter of fact, I thought to myself, I want to introduce you to something right away. Where is it? Where did I see it at? Is it in here? No, where was it? Maybe it was. No. Right here. We have to get to a point at the end of this class where we can look at a research project like this related to business and understand exactly what it's talking about. And everything in this class is going to be related to something I pushed really hard in 301 in statistics. And that is, and all of you who've had me are going to recognize this right away, and that's this bell curve. And at the end of the semester, and all this research is all about you being able to understand what it says, because you can picture in your mind the bell curve. Here it is. Whatever it is we're trying not to prove, the thing we've assumed forever, which in this case, let's take a look. This research, you gotta look here, my eyes are going. The research analysis disputes a trade group's prediction to back-to-school spending has an average of $606.40. So there it is. We've learned from research that this is $606.40. But you are trying to prove that this is incorrect. And you're trying to say, no, the average amount a family spends for back-to-school spending is not $606.40, but it's something different than that. Either it's more or less, but it's not $606.40. That's where research comes in. Here's the deal. For you to prove this wrong, which we've all been assuming for years maybe, that the average spending is $606.40, for you to prove that to be wrong, your research results have to be way out here in the tail. That's how much you got to prove it. You got to prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. Your results have to be either way over here or way over here. If it's right here, yes, it's different than 606, but you didn't prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt that it's different than 606. To prove it without a doubt, you got to be either way up there or way down here. And that's what you got to be ready for by the end of this class. So you look at these two things in the middle there. See that H sub O, or is that an A? I can't read it. Read H sub O and an H sub A. Do you see those two little things in the middle? H sub O is the hypothesis, called the null hypothesis. And by the end of the semester, you're gonna know from this point on what null hypothesis is all about. Null hypothesis is what's already assumed, that the average spending is $606.40. H sub A is the alternative hypothesis. This is what has inspired you to say, I'm going to do some research, because I don't think that's true. I think it's different. I think it's changed over the years. That's called the alternative hypothesis. That's the hypothesis you're trying to prove. The null is always in the center. This is the assumed. The null has a huge advantage in this whole process. If it's been assumed for years, if research has proved it, it says there, and you're trying to prove something different, well then you got to prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. The null gets all of this part of the bell curve. Look how much, if I were to start darkening this part of the bell curve, that'd be like 90% of it, 95% of it, 99% of it. The results from your research have to be either way down here or way up here in this little bitty 2 or 3%, or this little bitty 2 to 3%, for you to say, aha, I proved it. It's not 606.40 cents. It's different because we did this. That's where we got to get by the end of the semester. It's not that far. We can do it. You have to be able to calculate the proof. You got to analyze the proof. You got to be able to use the right words to state the proof. You got to know to say, how do I state this? You proved it. Oh, you're happy as could be. Your data came out way down here. People are spending less on back to school than they used to, or maybe it came out way up there. But you have to learn in this class how to use the right words to present the results. You're going to say either you're rejecting or not rejecting this null hypothesis. Those are the words. You either are rejecting or not rejecting that null hypothesis. If your result's way down here or way up there, you have evidence to reject the null. There's no way the average amount of money spent could be $606.40. My data proved way up here they're spending far more without a shadow of a doubt. There was only a 1% chance that randomness could cause this, so the results of my data is what caused this, because people are not spending 606. Odds are against you, but if your proof comes out way on the ends, you've got evidence to prove something. And you get published, and that's what research is about. Or you get, all of a sudden you got a bunch of money. You're a marketing director and you use research to prove your point that this marketing concept you came up with, and you want $6 million to take this ad campaign nationwide. They're not gonna hand you $6 million. They're gonna hand you a couple $100,000 and say, prove it. Prove it, do some research, do that ad campaign in Detroit. Let's see if it turns out that your ad campaign made that happen or that happen. Now we'll hand you $6 million. You get it? This is how it's used in business. All right. Let's get to the rules. A lot of you have already heard these. Syllabus. Here we are. Should I quiz you, see how many of you remember certain rules? What is it about my text and voice phone? What happens if you call that number? Nobody remembers? I know, it's been like, how many months? That was back in January for some of you. No one remembers. What happens? What happens? You'll get a recording that says leave a message, because I never, ever, ever answer my phone. Ever. So there you go. I thought I might remember that, because I'm sure there's not a lot of people that do that, but I never answer it. Ever. So there's my email. There's my text number. Those are the best ways to get a hold of me. What else do we want to know? Office hours. Pretty much any time except Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm either here or driving back, because it's a little more than an hour drive each way. So I'm usually not available on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but any other time, you just gotta give me a chance to try to avoid the office appointment by trying to ask you some questions and trying to answer them. And then I always finish with, do you still want the office visit? And 99% of the time they say, no, you've answered my question, I don't need it. But give me the chance to go back and forth, and then when we still want the office visit, we'll schedule it over Zoom. And you have your office visit, okay? If you need it. So pretty much any time except Tuesdays and Thursdays. I almost said late at night, even if you need it late at night, but I'll have to set an alarm, because this summer I ended up falling asleep like at 10:30 every night. I don't even know how it happens. I think it's part of age. You guys have that to look forward to. Let's see, prerequisite. All of you got a C or better in 301, or you couldn't be here, or some registration would have got hold of you and asked you to drop this class and take 301 again, so you must have a C or better in the previous class. Grading scale is just like I always have it. It's like a regular, normal grading scale, except I lowered the B's and the C and the A down to 93, 83. Usually B would be like 84 to 86, so I lowered that to 83. I did that years ago, so I just kept it there. C's used to be 74 to 76, but that's 73. D's were 64 to 66, but now it's 63. I don't know. I tried to look it up to see what grade you need in this class. I can't find anything that says you need a certain grade. And to prove, so I thought to myself, okay, you can probably have any grade for this class. So I said, okay, to prove that to myself, I'm gonna look up 301, because I know you gotta have a C or better. So if 301 says C or better where it says prerequisites, then I know that you can have any grade in 302. Looked up 301, it doesn't mention a thing about C or better. So now I don't know what to trust. So I don't know what the truth is. Were you gonna tell me? Were you gonna tell me, you have to have a certain grade in this class or no?
No.
Just gotta pass it.
You gotta pass it with it.
Pass it. So all you need is a 60. A D minus, right? If that's true. Again, I am recording this. I'm not taking responsibility for that because I don't know if you have to have a minimum grade. But hopefully not. And hopefully all you guy gets the D minus. I hope everybody gets an A in this class. I say that every semester and it never happens. But I sure hope it. I really do. Because I'd be happy to give them, especially my very last year, I'd be all excited to give everybody an A. It's like that would never happen. So what is your grade made up of? Participation is only 5% of your grade. It seems for some reason at the end of the semester to be the most important thing for a lot of students, but it's such a small part of your grade, you don't really need to focus on it so much. In-class assignments, those are consistently at the end of every week. This class is based on weeks, week 1, week 2, week 3. So this is the beginning of week 1, Thursday will be the end of week 1. So in this case, every Thursday you could pretty much plan on having an in-class assignment unless we already have a quiz that day. So in-class assignments add up to 15% of your grade. For those that never had me, in-class assignments are where you're doing your own assignment, but before you hand it in, you need to compare with at least 2 other people from different rows. You kind of work a little bit with the people that are sitting around you, but you're supposed to get up and go to different rows and compare to at least 2 other people before you hand it in. The goal with in-class assignments is for everybody to get an A. The in-class assignments are there to help keep your grade up in case you fall apart on one of the quizzes. So that's the whole point of them. So that's why make sure when you're not just comparing to somebody to see if they got the same answer. You're comparing with somebody to see if they have the same work, and if they don't, you're supposed to start talking about why is your work different than mine and mine different from yours, and try to figure it out. That's the key. For those who've had it before, they know that there's most of the points are in the work, not just the answer. It's showing me how you got to the answer, that you understand what's going on. Next, homework, 20% of your grade. The first homework assignment got posted last night. I think some of you may have saw it if you signed in after a certain time yesterday. But it's not that long, shouldn't take you that long, and it's right out of the book, which we happen to be using the 4th edition, but I think I don't think they changed the questions in the 3rd edition. So if you happen to bought an old one, I encourage you to buy older editions to save money. I encourage you to buy the least expensive textbook you can find. Because spending $100 or $200 some dollars on a textbook just seems crazy to me. I hated that part of college when I was in college, was having to spend all that money on textbooks. And I was foolish enough to not take them back. They're still in my basement. And my basement's been flooded and they're still down there. So that tells you how crazy it is. Take the books back, sell them. Everything's on the internet after you're done with the class. You just need it for the class. And why do you need the book for the class? Somebody's gotta know this. Come on, we got a recording, you guys know this, right? Why do you need the book for the class? Yeah, thank you. Open book test. It's open book test. Either have the electronic book, or the physical book, but it's open book, don't pass that up. It's also open anything posted on Canvas, electronic, meaning no paper, nothing printed, everything, you have to have everything downloaded from Canvas in advance. You turn off the internet, and then you can use everything that's been downloaded on Canvas while you're taking the quiz and the final exam. Everything's the same. A lot of you have had me before, everything's the same, nothing's different. So you know what to expect. Homework again, 20% of your grade, and it will be due on Tuesdays. Where is it? Email, oh God, I almost forgot. Email them in. This is the weird part, this is what's changed. Tuesday, before class starts, you're emailing your homework, and here's what's weird, I know a lot of you handwrite your answers. Just take a picture, attach it to an email, take a picture of your handwritten answers for Excel. Let me repeat that. Is that on here? Those who had me last year know that I asked you to handwrite your Excel answers, not hand in a spreadsheet, because I need you to prepare for the quizzes where you're answering the Excel questions by writing the Excel equation and the result. yes, you have Excel open in the computer in front of you while you're taking the quiz, and you can use Excel to get the result, and you're entering in the equation to get the result, but you're writing that equation down and the result from the spreadsheet. You're not handing in the spreadsheet during a quiz, you're not handing in a spreadsheet during the exam, final exam, and you're not handing in a spreadsheet for homework. You're writing the answers down. Everybody hear that? Everybody with me? Good, all right. And the weird part is you're not bringing in a piece of paper at 2 o'clock on Tuesdays. You're taking pictures and emailing it in. Now I know this will give a lot of you temptation to be late, since you don't have to hand in a piece of paper, but hopefully you realize when you're late is that's like a quarter of an absence. So it does affect your participation grade a little, but you'd have to be late, 5 times for it to, 4 times for it to even be 1 absence. So it's not a big deal, but I do want to let you know it is being kept track of, because there's a quarter of an absence. What else can I say about homework? Always due on Tuesdays. There's a couple of weeks where you don't have to hand in any homework because I want you to focus on preparing for the quiz. That'd be the reason why there's no homework that week. Or you're being quizzed on something we just did, and so there's no reason to do the homework on it since you just got quizzed on it. Stuff like that's gonna happen. So I think there's 3 times that you don't have to hand in homework. So out of 15 weeks, that leaves what, 12 that you have to hand in homework, or 11 maybe that you're gonna be handing in homework. So about 11 assignments. Same with the in-class assignments. I think there's about 11 or 12 of those also. So of the weeks that have in-class. I think there's more of those than there are homework assignments. Quizzes, there they are, 3 of them. Quiz 1 is only 10% of your grade, or 10 out of 100 points. Quiz 2 is 15%, and quiz 3 is 15%. Those are worth more, they're a little harder, and they're a little longer. The first quiz is the easiest one of the semester. It's usually the shortest one of the semester. I wanna just look at those dates real quick on these quizzes. Here's the whole thing at the bottom. Let me get down here, okay. Quiz 1 is in week 4 at the beginning of the week, Tuesday, the 24th of September. There's your first quiz. The second quiz then, probably about week 7 or 8. There it is, week 7, but on Thursday, the end of week 7. So here's an example where we'll have no in-class assignment this week on week 7 because the quiz is on a Thursday instead of in-class. That will be October 17th. Then quiz 3 is probably then 11. Thursday on the 11th week, which is November 14th. Again, because it's on a Thursday, that means there'll probably be no in-class assignment. Matter of fact, if there is an in-class assignment that week, it might be on Tuesday or none at all probably. But, so there's quiz 3, and then the final exam is gonna be on Tuesday, December 17th. By the way, Thanksgiving, last year was the first time they ever did this, and they're doing it again this year. You get a whole week off for Thanksgiving. Instead of just those 3 days of Thanksgiving, you get the whole week off. So that week's gonna be the end of November. The last week in November we have off for Thanksgiving, which is great. It just flies by them. Look at all this stuff. Look at all this stuff. Week 1, week 2. Look at the due dates for the homework. Always Tuesday, the following Tuesday, the following Tuesday. You might as well put it in your planner. If you guys, you should be using a planner. You gotta get used to it, because in the real world, you've gotta live by a planner. And you should be putting on every Tuesday from now until the end of the semester, homework due, homework due, homework due. Just put it on your planner so you never forget. Again, there are a couple that's not due, but you can always take it off your planner. How are we doing? Do we have any questions up to this point? Because we're gonna get into the late stuff, and usually then we'll get into some questions. But up to this point, any questions? Everybody know the final exam is 20% of your grade, that's equals 100%. Your grade is spread out between the in-class assignments, the homeworks, and participation, which we'll talk about in a little bit, the 3 quizzes, the final exam. I always said at this point how hard you'd have to work to not get a C or better in this class. But someone proved it to me last semester for the first time. They worked hard and they didn't get the C or better. So it is even possible to work hard and not get the C. So it shocked me and I feel bad about it. But you really do have to work hard. And now that if it's true that we get to go all the way to a D- and you're out of here and you're on with the rest of your degree, it'll be almost impossible for you not to pass this class. You would have to start skipping and just not even watching the videos to not pass this class. The key to doing well in this class is just showing up, really. Because I spoon feed you the information to the point, that's kind of my little thing, is that I break down these difficult problems into their simple little building blocks to build a foundation to make this all understandable for everybody. That's kind of what I do. And that may be why some people like taking me, I think, is because even those who hate math start to understand statistics a little by the way I teach it into these little bitty pieces of a building block that then build on top of it like a house. So that's all you gotta do is show up. It's not showing up that starts hurting your grade for some reason. Even if you watch the videos, for some reason, showing up is the difference for a lot of people. All right, let's get to the textbook. Like I said before, we're on the 4th edition. From what I understand, you are the last semester using the 4th edition. They're going to the new edition. But again, for me, I don't care which book you have. If you have the international version, that's fine. If you have the 3rd edition, 2nd edition, that's fine. Whatever you have to do to save money, but you'd be crazy to go without a book on an open book test. Also, since some of the homework's being assigned out of the book, which is really rare for me because I usually write my own homework assignments, but for some of the homework being assigned out of the book, it's another reason why you might want the book. As for today, because you have homework due on Tuesday, I'm gonna put a picture up of the homework so you can take a picture of it for this week, because I know a lot of you probably don't have your book yet. Raise your hand if you don't have your book so I can see if my assumption's right. Yeah, there is a lot of you without it still, okay. All right, so I'll put the picture up. Let's do it now or I'll forget. I gotta remember where it's at. Is this it? No. Hang on, I know it's here. Try to remember what the homework, it goes all the way to problem 6. So as long as you can see all the way to problem 6, from 1 to 6, no, can't get all 6 in. I think I gotta go one less. Okay, there it is. It's kind of small, so you may have to get up close, but you can zoom it in on your phone if you can get it in focus. Worst scenario is there anybody here that does have a book that people can take a picture of? There's one back there. You have a book?
No, I have a question.
Oh.
The book that we used last semester, is it the same book?
Yeah, same book that we used in the winter. Same book, you guys, that you used for 301 if you had me. As a matter of fact, whoever you have for 301, you use the book we're using for this class, yes. Whoever you have, if you have took it here.
Because there's a free copy of the book.
What do you mean there's a free copy? Where?
Someone sent it in the group chat last semester.
Well, don't tell me about it, but go ahead and do whatever you have to do. Because I don't think that's legit. I think the publisher would get mad. So I don't know anything about it, but get in that group chat that he just mentioned if you want a free book. God, did I just record that? I hate editing. I can't post the book. Oh, that picture? Oh. Yeah, I can post this picture.
Okay.
I'm gonna forget, right? Yeah, she's gonna remind me to post this on Canvas, so I'm gonna post this picture on Canvas.
What page?
It's 287 for the 4th edition, but it's 297 in the 3rd edition. So 287 though for the 4th edition is that page. I think your homework's like, let's look at the homework assignment so we can know what problems are there. Your homework's gonna be problem number 1, problem number 2. You're not answering the questions on there, you're answering the questions that I wrote. But you're using the data from problem number 1, problem number 2, problem number 6, C only, just part C, and then a problem I wrote. I call it whatever. It's not from the book. That means I wrote that problem. So you only have 1, 2, 3, 4 problems. And make sure you realize that I'm reminding you here at the bottom, do not hand in a spreadsheet and write your Excel answers. I'm trying to remind you right there. You're going to hand write your Excel answers, the equation you put onto the spreadsheet, and the result you got off the spreadsheet, and then you just take a picture of it and email it in with your other answers. You may have typed out your other answers in Word, that's fine. Send a picture and a Word document attached. Let me go back to emailing that to me. You email your homework, do everything you can not to hand it in through Canvas, to email it to me directly. Now I'm recording this, so I'm going to say it again because every semester someone tries to hand it in through Canvas and it never makes it. And that's not on me. That's just Canvas. It just happens. For some reason, the homework doesn't make it. I don't know why. Email me directly. There's my email, mmccar@umich.edu. Email me directly, and you know your homework's gonna be there. Just go to your sent folder and you'll see that you properly attached them and you know it made it. So you're handing in your homework email. We have a grader this year. We have a grader. So I'm then taking your email and I'm sending it forwarding it to the grader who's gonna grade your homework, then send it to me, which I will then record your grade, look over at the beginning of the semester, and look over at how the grader is grading it, making sure it's like the way I would have graded it, and then I email back you the results. So it's gonna be going all over the place. So that's why it has to be emailed this year, because we have a grader. See how it works. Just, the grader's only gonna be doing the homework. I'm grading the in-class assignments and all the quizzes and the final exam. Just the homework's being graded by the grader. So we'll see how that works out. All right, we got the textbook all figured out. Let's talk about the no excuse policy. Did I forget to, I'll put it right here. This is how I treat everybody the exact same, and no favoritism whatsoever, is called the no excuse policy. No matter what happened that you feel you need to talk to me about it because there's a special situation and your grade got hurt for some reason, remember that whatever it was, there's a no excuse policy in this class. It just means, whatever it is you're coming up with as to why whatever happened, it doesn't matter. Because we're living this class through no excuse policy. This has worked for a couple of decades, so I want to use it again in the very last year here. It's just, I can't tell you the pressure some of you put on me to try to curb your grade for whatever special thing that has taken place. And there's some great ones. There's some great ones that I wish I could share. Some great ones. But it's just a no excuse policy, so it doesn't matter. There's nothing I can do. It's a no excuse. I know that you got in a car accident, and I know you're in the hospital right now. I know that's a bad example, but that's a true example. It's a no excuse policy. You tell your parents to grab your phone, take a picture of the stuff you had finished sitting in the passenger seat, and tell them to email it to me. Something like that. Here's the good news. What happens if you're late one day with your homework or in-class assignments or anything? What happens after one day late? Anybody's had me before? What? 25%. Very good. 25%. So you can wait till the next day to hand things in. Wait till the answers are posted. Let me repeat that. If you're gonna hand in something in late, even if you're handing in, you handed in half your homework because you only got half of it done, and you're handing in the other half late, wait till after the answer is posted. Why hand in something late and not look over the answer first to make sure you're getting as much credit as you possibly can? You're only gonna receive 25% off the late portion, right? Only the part that got handed in late is 25% off. If you aren't here for the in-class assignment and you forgot all about it and you go, oh, it's the next day, it's Friday, the answer's probably posted already, open the answer, hand write the answer. You can't copy paste. Where is that at? Where is it? Where's hand write late? Do I not have it on here? Hand write late assignments. Anything late policy, there it is. Late policy. Anything late has to be handwritten. So you did your homework assignment on Word, forgot to hand it in, now you gotta hand write all those answers to hand it in, and get the 25% off, which means you're guaranteed to get a 75 though, because you get to look at the answer and you get to make sure you have everything right and have all the work I'm looking for, and you know you're gonna get a 75 then. You're guaranteed a 75. There are people who will do their best to try to get less than 75 on an assignment, either by being 2 days late, not looking at the answer first, even though they handed in 1 day late, something like that. So that's on you. I want you guys to realize I have the system all set up to where everybody should, at minimum, get a 75 or above on every single assignment. There's absolutely no reason not to get a 75 or above, because even if you completely don't understand it, you just wait till the next day, look at the answer, and copy it and write it down, and you got a 75. Take a picture of your handwritten answer and email it to me. It's almost, I don't know what to say. Just hopefully you're with me on this one. Everybody with me? Everybody understand what's, okay. All right. Maybe what else? What if it's 2 days late? Here we go. No excuse policy on homework and everything else. If it's 1 day late, 25% off. all the way up till you have till midnight the day after it was due then to hand it in. Let's say you didn't email it, class is after 2 o'clock on Tuesday, you forgot to email it, it's 3 o'clock on Tuesday. You can email it if you feel confident, you got it absolutely right, but why? Because now you have all the way till midnight the next day, you might as well wait till the next day and look at the answers, then compare it to your answers. You do have to handwrite it now if you typed it up, so you might as well wait till the next day anyway and then hand it in and guarantee yourself a 75. So I just want to let you know, it's almost foolish to hand something in late and you had not looked at the answers. So I just want to point that out. That just seems crazy. Every day late after that first day is another 10% off, so it's 35% off then 2 days late, 45% off 3 days late, 55% off whatever, and then the last one is 60% off. That's the most I can take off is 60%. So if you hand in something at the end of the semester, I'm going to put it on the board, I'm going to put an announcement on campus that says, last day to hand in late assignments. You hand it in that last day, you're still pretty much guaranteed to get a 40. As long as you looked at the answer first, you're guaranteed to get a 40. So any zeros because you completely forgot something and it gets to the end of the semester, turn it into a 40. Don't leave it as a 0 because you're guaranteed to get a 40. Just look at the answer and handwrite the answer out. Any questions about handing in late assignments? What can be handed in late? Nothing except missing items. There's no such thing as redoing something you got wrong. Only missing items can be handed in late. Resubmitted, excuse me. Only missing items can be resubmitted. Once you hand in an assignment, it's handed in, but then you went on WhatsApp chat and you went, oh, I forgot to do that part. Fine, you can hand that part in because it was missing, you never handed in. But you go to WhatsApp chat and you go, oh, I did that part wrong, I want to correct it because it's not the due time yet. You can't correct it. Once it's handed in, it's handed in. If you did that little part wrong, you're gonna lose some points. And you can't correct it, even though you handed in early, you can't then go back, oh, I wanna correct that in. Now, you can only hand in what you forgot to hand in, what was missing. And a lot of people who have it for know that when I hand this back, when you get your email back that says, here's your grade on your homework, it will mention what was wrong and what was missing. Look for the word missing because you want to respond with the missing items and get those points back. Part of those points we'll get back. I'll add them back to your grade by handing in the missing items when I send you your grade. To get the most points back for missing items is when I'm going over the homework on Tuesday, right? You're handing in Tuesday before 2. I'm going to go over it on Tuesday. Catch yourself. Go, oh, I didn't do that part. Handwrite that part right then and hand it in on your way out the door, that missing item. And get those points back because you know you already handed it in with some missing items. Why not get all 75% of those points back then by the end of class? So that's the time to catch yourself as to when you have missing items is when I'm going over the homework on Tuesdays when class starts. Any questions about the late policy on homework and in-class assignments? The in-class assignment, the only time you're late with the in-class assignment is because you weren't here on Thursday, you forgot all about it, you waited till Friday, I post the answer, look at it, write out the answer for the in-class assignment, take a picture and hand it in, and you got a 75 on the in-class assignment. But if you are absent on Thursdays, and you still get the in-class assignment handed in by midnight that night, and I haven't posted the answer because I don't post it till the next day, you get full credit, no late reduction because you weren't here. So you still did the in-class assignment, you got it done by midnight, I'm giving you full credit, no late reduction if you missed Thursday and you still handed it in. Everybody hear that? Okay, all right. Yes?
For the in-class, do we submit it through Canvas or email it?
No, in class you're gonna hand it on your way out, just a piece of paper on your way out.
Like
Oh yeah, any way you can get it to me, you can just take a picture of it or,
Okay.
because it's late, you're getting, oh no, it won't be late, will it? So you don't even have to handwrite it, but it'll be fast if you just handwrote it, take a picture.
For the homework assignment, so it's the same thing as the last semester, you took it as soon as you walked in?
No, it's not the same as last semester on the homework you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Homework, you gotta email it to me before 2 o'clock on Tuesday. Email, it's the key words there, no handing in paper this semester.
Before class on Tuesday.
Before class on Tuesdays, you gotta email me your answers for the homework. No Excel spreadsheets. You gotta write those Excel equations out. And then take pictures and hand it in, okay? Everybody, again, I wanna make sure I emphasize that. No paper this semester, homework, you're handing in pictures. In-class assignments, we're doing it on paper all together at the end of class. You're on your way out the door, you're dropping that piece of paper off. Yes, those are on paper. the in-class assignments. I know some of you dread the in-class assignment, but man, it's so good for your grade. I don't know why you dread it so much. I don't get it. All right. Again, look at, I put no excuse policy. I put like 3 or 4 places on here because I want to make sure everybody realizes this is a no excuse policy class. And everybody's gonna be treated the same. And when I tell you, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna change your grade, you're gonna hate me for a minute, but I wanna let you know that's the same thing I told everybody else. At least you know anybody else in this class asking me is gonna hear the same thing you hear. No, I'm sorry, I can't change your grade. So don't take it personal, because it's not personal. It's how it's what I have to say to everyone. It's the only way to be fair. All right, where am I at? What should you expect on the grading? There's 2 different gradings that take place on homework and sometimes on in-class assignments, called detailed grading, non-detailed grading, okay? So you got non-detailed grading and detailed grading. Detailed grading, I'm putting a score on there. I'm grading the in-class assignments, you'll see a 95 or whatever, you'll see exactly where the check mark is, you'll see I'll put on there what you got wrong, what the mistake was. But if it's a non-detailed grading, all you'll see at the top of the page is the word okay, or okay and then a score because you got less than 100. If you just see the word okay, it means I looked to see if you did all the work, that you attempted the problem. I did not look to see if you got it right or wrong. I just looked to see if you put in the effort to at least try to do the whole problem, though I gave you the okay. When I hand it back and you have the word okay on top with a number or not without a number, if it doesn't have a number, it means you got 100. If it has a number, you got less than 100, there'll be a reason on there. But if you see the word okay, do not use it while you're taking a quiz. I did not look to see if you had the right answer. Okay? Use the answer posted during the quiz. Don't use your answer, because I didn't even look to see if you had it right or wrong. I just looked to see that you attempted it, so I put okay on the top. And you got a full credit for it. Everybody hear that? Don't rely on your own answers. Rely on the posted answers.
Is that for homework or?
Homework too. Homework and in-class assignments. Homework, when I email it back from the grader, I'm gonna say to her, hey, let's do a non-detailed grading. She's just gonna look to see if you did all the work and put in the details that you try to apply for problems. She's not gonna look to see if you did it right or wrong. She's just gonna look to see that you attempted every problem with enough work. She's sending it back to me with the word okay. I'm looking at it because we're at the beginning of the semester and I'm just checking to make sure she's doing it. And I look and see it and I go, yeah, it's okay. I'll go in the grade book, I'll enter the 100, then I'll forward it to you with the word okay. And when you get it, you're gonna say, well, was I right or wrong? Look at the answer posted, because none of us look to see if you got it right or wrong. We just look to see if you did every problem and put enough work in it. That's what okay means. Don't get me wrong, non-detailed grading, if you guys remember from last semester, was probably only maybe 2 homework assignments out of all of them, and maybe only 2 in-class assignments out of all of them, is my guess. It wasn't that many. So, when I usually will throw a non-detailed grading in is when I'm falling behind and I need to catch up, so I don't have time to look at all the details. Then I'll throw a non-detailed grading in and I can get through it really fast, and that's when it happens. So you'll probably have the same thing this semester. Probably 2 of the in-classes will be non-detailed, and maybe 2 of the homework assignments will be non-detailed when it starts getting overloaded a little. Any questions? Don't forget, non-detailed grading is like a regular grading. There's no word okay at the top. There's, how many points you got wrong, what your score is, and you'll look through and you'll see where you lost points. You'll see some details. Or I'm sorry, you're gonna look at an email. On the email, she will list what problem you got and what the mistake was, what the problem was, or what the problem number is and what the missing item is. There'll be big letters, missing. Anytime you see the word missing, that means you can hand that missing item back in and get some of the points back if you want them added back on. I'll grade that, I will go through and add points back on. I'll take care of the missing items if you email it back. Any questions about what to expect for homework grading? Everybody gets it? It's a lot, isn't it? Man, look at all these rules. Well, participation, here we go. Here's the crazy part. Participation. All right, 50% of your participation score. First of all, let me emphasize again, participation is only 5% of your total grade. 5 out of 100 points. It's not a big part of your grade. That 5%, half of it, which means 2.5% of your whole grade, is based on you showing up and not being late. Combination of those 2 things, showing up and not being late, is 50% of your participation grade. 10%, is that really only 10%? Yeah, 10%, and I think somebody's already emailed me this semester, even before classes started, is emailing me twice in the semester, not handing anything in, called participation emails on 2 different days. You can send me an email that just says, hey, I want participation, and it counts. Or you can ask a legitimate question and about statistics or about anything in life, it doesn't matter. I'm just asking for 2 emails this semester before the end of the semester on 2 different days, nothing attached because you're not handing anything in, they're just participation emails. You could send one right now if you wanted to. Testing, what do I want to do? Okay, again, I want to remind you, no internet whatsoever while testing's going on. Also, for those who've never had me before, maybe you guys can remember, what else do I do to try to take away the temptation of cheating? What? Assign seating, that's right, I forgot, I put up a seating chart, assign seatings to take away that temptation. What else do I do? Anybody else? Yes?
Aren't you supposed to only use one device?
One device, well, only one device. I forgot about that too, thank you. One device, I wasn't even gonna mention that one. One device.
Put up the file folder.
File folders on your side, you're in your own cubicle. Anybody new, who's never had me before? I wanna see who this is shocking. 1, 2, 3, 4, only about 4 or 5 people have never had me before, they're probably in shock right now. Yes, there are folders on either side of you, you can't look to your left or right, you're in your own little cubicle. Also, were you gonna say walking around, me walking around?
No, the folder thing.
No folder thing, oh. Me also, I'm walking around, looking over your shoulder, you gotta get into a zone and ignore me and pretend I'm not there. You know, you gotta, unless you're cheating, you're gonna be watching all over because I'm coming behind you every 30 seconds, I'm gonna be behind you. All of these things are taking place. I'm gonna remind you of all the test rules the weekend before, what is this, on Thursday? So the Wednesday, the day before the test on Thursday, the first quiz is on Tuesday. So the weekend before, I'm gonna remind you of all the little rules. Only one device, no internet, and also reminding you, download everything off of Canvas. When I say download, remember, the PowerPoints don't work in Canvas. Do you guys remember that? Some people were opening the PowerPoints in Canvas and some of the graphics weren't working. Download these PowerPoints. They're old as could be. They're old as dirt. I almost said as old as me. They're old. They're so old that the graphics don't work in Canvas. You gotta download them if you wanna see all the words and all the graphics. So please download these and have them ready to go. I recommended last year to use a flash drive. Put everything off of Canvas on your flash drive, and whatever computer then you get assigned to, if you're not using your own computer, you gotta use one of these. You just take your flash drive, put it in, boom, there's all the stuff off of Canvas. Right there, ready to go. If you're taking hand notes, take pictures of your hand notes, put it on the flash drive. You can use your hand notes that way. You just can't whip out paper notes. No paper. The only paper in front of you is the quiz that you're writing your answers out on. Okay. Any questions about that? Now I know some of you are going, oh, it's open note, it's open book. There's the 5 people that never had me before. Please let them know when you talk to them casually that that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Let them know your experience, that just because it's open note, open material on Canvas doesn't make it easy. It's still challenging. The biggest part that's challenging about my test is what? There it is, time limit. The time limit is the biggest challenge, but that's, and when it's open note and open materials and open book and open everything, the only real challenge is how prepared were you? Were you prepared enough to be able to find the information you needed fast enough to do this quiz in time, to get every answer in time? That's your biggest enemy, is the time. So when you're preparing for my quizzes, it's about how organized you are to find the help you need to answer questions. And I always suggest to redo the homework as if you don't know the answers. And how fast can you find help to help you with the homework assignment? Mix them up. And if you can do every homework assignment and do it quickly, then you're prepared for the quiz. Everybody knows that's had me before, my quizzes and my final exam are directly related to what I'm teaching in this class. I don't sit there and try to throw you curveballs to screw up your grade. They're directly related. My lectures are literally preparing you for these quizzes and the final exam. The crazy the part about this year's final exam that you guys got to be prepared for is that you have been selected as an assessment class, and there's certain questions I have to add to the final exam to see how you compare to students who have taken this class in previous years. Like 2 years ago they did an assessment, and I think about 4 years ago they did one. So you've been chosen, you're going to be assessed on the final exam, so you're going to have some of these weirder questions that are on there also. But I'm adding to the time because of those questions, so that assessment takes place. So I'm just giving you a heads up though. Don't worry, throughout the semester though, I'm gonna be giving you hints to truly prepare you for those questions as well as the questions for each of your quizzes in the final exam. All right, what else? Did we miss anything? Consistent due date every Tuesday on homework, every Thursday on in-class. Grading assignments, yes, detailed and non-detailed grading. Comparing with posted answers, that's how you know if you have missing items. Compare what you've done to the missing answers, to the posted answers. Also, use the posted answers as your guide while you're taking the test, the quizzes, and the final exam instead of your answers. The posted ones have the work on them, so you have the detailed work and you know it's right. Once handed in, always handed in. We talked about testing participation. Oh, we gotta finish participation. You see that? Anybody see that? You know it's a good day. Here's the rest of it. 50% your attendance, 10% is those 2 participation emails, which somebody may have just sent. Okay, 15% is answering questions while I'm lecturing. While I'm lecturing, I'm gonna be asking you, and do you reject or not reject? And I'm trying to get you to speak up and tell me if we reject or not reject. Help me learn your name. Help me get familiar with you. That's the only, really, there's only 2 parts where I gotta make my judgment, where I'm involved in your grade. Your grade is out of my hands except for these 2 little parts, which are only 15% and 15% of your participation. 15% of 5% and another 15% of 5% is all I have a little control over. That is, did this person answer my questions during live lectures and help me learn their name? And did this person help other students during in-class assignments? Those are the only 2 parts where I gotta make my judgment, and I'm pretty generous with those 2 parts. Because whether I give you an 80 or a 90 or a 95 on those 2 parts, it almost never affects someone's overall grade. So I literally have no effect on your grade. The grade is almost completely up to you. Your grade is based on how well you do compared to everyone else in the class and the other class. But if everybody got everything right, and I can give everybody 100, which I'd love to do on that first in-class assignment on Thursday, I'd love to give everybody 100 on that, then so be it. I'm handing out 80s. I hope we can do it. All right, what else? Textbook, we talked about grading criteria, office hours, email. How are we doing on time? What does this class go to, 3:15? Okay, so we're doing well. All right, Canvas, here we go. Let's make sure I didn't skip anything else. Anything else here? Just to go, I just want to look at the schedule again real quick. This is how I have it lined up. Each week has the 2 dates right there. There's week 1. Here are the subjects that we're gonna talk about mostly on Thursday. I'm gonna talk about a couple things today, but barely. This is all what we're learning on Thursday. Here's the live lecture days, Tuesday and Thursday, and the dates. The week 1 assignments due Tuesday of next week. Then it goes to week 2. Here are the dates, same concept. Here's the subjects, here's the Excels, here's the 2 dates where I have live lectures, here's when the homework's due. Then week 3, then week 4. Here's the weird part about week 3. Week 3 homework, due, never. Because after you get done on Thursday on week 3, you gotta spend the next 5 days preparing for quiz 1. I don't want you to have to do any homework assignment during those 5 days. I want you to focus on preparing for quiz 1. That's why there's no homework due there. But on Thursday the 19th, there's definitely an in-class assignment. Then after the quiz in week 4, Thursday we have a lecture and we have homework due 5 days later from that lecture on Thursday after the first quiz. All right, so then you see the concept. Week 5, everything's the same. Week 6, week 7, week 8. We get a week off November. Week 14, I have not decided exactly what we're doing. I haven't decided if we're doing homework that week or not. That's the only part that's been undecided is week 14. By the time week 14 comes along, I can see us not wanting to do anything. I don't know. This is it. This is the end. And then our exam is on the 17th. I don't know what time yet on the 17th, but you should plan it somewhere around 1:30 to 2:30 is usually the case for final exams. And I know you get there's a block of 2 or 2.5 hours for final exam, but your final exam, even with these additional questions, are gonna be less than 2 hours. Your final exam will be less than 2 hours. Closer to 1.5 hours is my estimate. How are we doing? Any questions so far? Let's go to Canvas then. Here are the tabs. Home is where, when you sign into Canvas, into our class, this is what it looks like. Let me go to student view, hang on. Student view, hang on, there we go. This is what it looks like. At the top, Every week will be your weekly instructions. I didn't open this week's instructions. Let's open it. Here we go. Your weekly instructions tell you exactly what assignments are due this week and when they're due, and what materials are relevant for the week. The reason this is important, as we get closer to the quiz, you're gonna say to yourself, what should I study? You take these instructions out and you go to the materials and you say, here's the PowerPoint slides I should be studying, here's the textbook pages I should be studying, here's the Excel spreadsheet examples I should be studying. Each of the instructions are telling you exactly where to look for what you need to prepare for the quizzes. So you're gonna take out the first 3 weeks instructions when you're preparing for quiz 1 and just look at the things that are at the bottom, those materials. Those are the items you should be studying. As you can see, there are 2 assignments due this week. There's a written assignment. Well, no, I take that back. The written and Excel assignment are built in one. So they're one. Excel, the written assignment is asking for manual calculation solutions and the Excel entries that would be made to find the solutions. So you are literally doing the Excel assignment as you're doing the written assignment also. So it's an easy assignment, it shouldn't take you long. You're starting out easy. Any questions about these instructions? Everybody who's had me before recognizes this because I did this every year. Everybody okay? The new people, you guys okay with these instructions? You know how to use them? All right. Next, you have your materials, the PowerPoint, an Excel spreadsheet, an example, but no picture. You gonna remind me to put that picture up? You can tell her. Okay. I'll put the picture up, it'll be right there, I'll add it there. There's the homework assignment, you can click right there to go to the homework assignment, or you can click on the assignment tab. There's the first week assignment. I posted it yesterday, late yesterday, there it is, right there. You just click on it to open it up, or download it and open it, whichever way. But when it comes to the PowerPoints, let me go back to here. When you click on this PowerPoint, take it from here and download it. What you're looking at right here may or may not be what's truly on that PowerPoint slide. For some reason, some of these graphics just don't show up in Canvas. So how do you download it, you guys? I never downloaded off Canvas. Do you just click on it right here and will it start downloading?
Yeah.
It gives you the option. I'm gonna try, see what happens. Okay, right there, download it. No, I just wasted. I'm limited. I'm down to my last few gigs too. Anyway, so it downloads automatically and then you open it from there. So there's PowerPoint, or Excel, I mean, and PowerPoint. Excel spreadsheet should be fine. They should open up right in Canvas or download it. I would download them so you have it on your pen drive so you're ready to use it during your quiz. All right, so you see all the materials, the Z chart. What else? Grades. There's where your grades are. Homework assignment, in-class assignment. There's nothing there. Out of 100 points, you'll see your grade right there. Everybody should always know where their grades are. That total, I'm gonna keep updating that total by putting the percentages to each assignment, so that that total will be where you stand in the class at that moment. You'll always know how you're doing in this class by looking at that total. I'm also gonna post a spreadsheet after the first quiz where you can hand enter your grades and you'll see it matches that total because the percentages are lined up. I'm gonna divide, like what is homework, 20% of your grade? I'm gonna divide 20% by, let's say 11 homework assignments or 10 homework assignments, so each one's worth 2%. So I'm gonna assign 2% to it, so that total will have the weight of your homework, have the weight of your in-class assignment, and the weight of your first quiz, and the homeworks and the in-classes, so you'll know exactly if the class ended after the first quiz, and you look at that total, that would be your grade in the class. So you know exactly where you stand in the class through the whole semester. You'll never need to wonder how you're doing in the class, because it will always be right there. Everybody okay with that? I know you guys, this is all old news for a lot of you. Announcements. Here's the reason this announcements are important is because this is where I communicate to you if I'm in a hurry to communicate to you. Let me give you an example. I have to have a root canal. Has anybody ever had a root canal before? Okay, am I gonna make it to lecture after that?
Depends on how long it takes.
No, not how long it takes. How much pain am I gonna be in after?
Oh, no, you'll be fine.
I'm gonna be fine? Okay, so we're not canceling class next Tuesday, but if he's wrong, and he's rarely wrong, but if he is, this is where I would put the announcement right here, which means I will put something there that, yeah, we're not meeting, but do this. I'm never gonna fully cancel class, I'm gonna put some alternative on this announcement here. And then I'll make sure everybody, like, it gets sent out to everybody. It asks me, do you want to go to every student? And then all of a sudden you'll get an email that says announcement. It'll be, I'm trying to communicate to you that I'm in too much pain. I can't make the drive down, and but do this, okay? You sure I'm gonna make it? All right, good. You're awfully young to have a rookie now. Let's see. Let's see, what else does this say? Did everybody see this? Did everybody see this when they checked the class out in the last couple days? You did? Okay, it says review the following tabs: syllabus, home, assignment, grade tabs. Some PowerPoints will not display full graphics opening the Canvas, so you must download them. And I should add on there, well, I did at the bottom assignment. Don't forget, do not hand in Excel spreadsheets. Write your answers out, hand write them, and hand them in that way. Grades, people, forget people, who cares? Syllabus, modules, I think that's pretty much everything, right? Assignments, home, announcements. On Thursday, I will add a section here that will say in-class assignments, and then all of a sudden you'll go to week 1 module, and at the bottom, right below homework, will be in-class assignment. So if you missed class, this is where you're gonna find it. You can download it, quickly do the in-class assignment yourself, get it in by midnight, no late reduction. So that's where you're gonna find it, right there on Canvas. Any questions about Canvas? You've all experienced Canvas before, but I don't know if everybody uses it the same way I do. I'm using only a few of the tabs, like I said. Just announcements, grades, assignments, home, and syllabus. Those are the only tabs I'm using. That's it? No questions on that? Let's see. Let me emphasize, I got a note to myself to emphasize this. When you're handing in your homework and when you're taking the quizzes and the final exam, show work, show work, show work. The setup is most of the points. Showing some calculation work is some points. The answer is some points. The biggest points are in the setup, but you'll lose points if you got the right answer and didn't show me how you got to the right answer. Show work. Show some detailed work, at least 1 or 2 calculations. What else? You'll always know what your grade is. The class is never canceled. I'll always put something up there to let you know what we're doing instead. There'll be free tutoring, just like always. There'll be free tutoring for 302 also. There's walk-in tutoring, there's scheduled tutoring. I'm gonna put on announcements, the link as soon as I get it from them, as to how to go to tutoring and schedule it. There's gonna be a supplemental instructor. Everybody know what that is? So anybody's never heard of a supplemental instructor? Maybe you had a different instructor and never had it? It's where a past student who got an A or something is gonna help you review anything you're maybe falling behind on. You can go to these special sessions and get extra help. That's gonna be set up here in the next couple weeks. And then, let's see, assigned C, you said, it's a time test, open book, open notes, handwritten Excel answers. That's it. I think that's everything we got for the syllabus. We still got a few minutes, so I want to talk. We want to get into stuff? Do we want to get into stuff? Who said that? Hey, what do you mean no? I do want to get into something. Hang on, let me think. What do I want to get into here? This right here. Not this. I don't want you to see that yet. Hang on. I want to just talk out loud. Oh, I know what I want you to see. This. No. This? No. Where is it? It's here, but on a different tab. There it is. Does this look familiar?
Oh my God, yes.
Oh, I know it's a nightmare, isn't it? Here's the deal. You ready? If you had me last semester, I taught you something called confidence and significance. And if you remember, I said to you, confidence and significance are the opposite of each other. So as long as you're giving one of those numbers, you know that 2 of them add up to 100%, so you can figure out the other one easy. If I said to you, 20% significance, what's the confidence? 80%. Very good. If I said to you 90% confidence, what's the significance? 10%. Everybody get it? Okay. Now, confidence intervals was something you learned if you had me, but I heard if you had someone else, you didn't learn confidence intervals in 301. So for the 5, 6 people that are new here, this is going to be kind of new for them possibly. But all of you had me, I don't expect you to remember it because it was like 5 months ago at least, maybe 6, half a year ago. Here's the deal. Confidence intervals represent the center of the bell curve. The significance is either 1 tail or 2 tails. Let me repeat this, all right? With a confidence interval, it will always be the 2 tails added together. So here's the deal. If I said to you, 90% confidence, what's the significance? 10%. The opposite. They add up to 100% every time. I gotta figure out what numbers represent the 90% of the center. And then the 10% would be in the two wings. Now here's the deal. The two tails have to be the exact same size. So if the significance 10%, how much is in each tail? They gotta add up to 10%. 5% in each one. You get it. You get it. Now, I gotta make sure you can hear what either the confidence is or the significance, be able to look at the Z chart and tell me what Z represents that confidence or significance. Let me repeat this. This is gonna get a little harder, but we got time. You ready? I'm gonna mention a confidence or significance, and you gotta be able to look at the Z chart. I'm gonna try to make it bigger because it's pretty small. You gotta be able to look at the Z chart and find what Z represents that confidence significance. Let me start with, okay, hang on, I gotta find, okay, what am I gonna start with? Let me think. Yeah, here we go. All right, I know now. I'm gonna start with 95% confidence. Are you ready? So here's the deal. From here all the way to here represents 95%. Tell me what's, no, I forgot. Z charts are always from a point to the left, right? It's always to the left. So that means the Z chart represents this, right there, this right there. If this whole thing is 95%, what percent is that? There you go, 2.5%. You guys, what are we doing here? You're all over it. I don't even know what I'm doing here. 2.5%. So all you gotta do is say, oh, if it's 2.5% in this lower tail, all you gotta do is find 2.5% somewhere on that chart, then go to the left and up, and you found Z. So look as hard as you can and try to find 2.5%, which would be 0.025. And it's right there. You see it? Right to the right of my point, right below my pointer. Right there, 0.025. So if I said 95% confidence, you would say, oh, that Z equals, let me look, hang on, I gotta stare at it for a minute. 1 point, what is it? Forget the negative sign. Forget 1.9. Hang on, where you go straight up. 6. So let me make sure everybody's on the same page. We found 2.5%. We followed it to the left, 1.9, and then we followed it up and put the 6 on the end. 1.96.
Is there a negative?
No, forget the negative. It represents both ends. Negative 1.96, positive 1.96. Just 1.96. Matter of fact, if you really want to do this right, you put plus minus in front. But I'm not even asking for that. I just want to know the number. I just want to know number.
You don't include the 0, right?
What 0?
Like the
No, you're adding those together.
Oh.
Add the 0.06 plus the 1.9, and they add up to 1.96. Okay, so, you ready? I'm gonna try another one. 9, well, I'm gonna make sure it's on the chart. Hang on, let me make sure it's on here first before I say it. That's too tough. Let me find one that I know is on this PowerPoint. Oh wait, here, by the way, here's 95% confidence. Here it is, 2.5% in this tail. 2.5%, we looked it up, 1.96. Hang on, here's another one. I don't want to show it to you yet. Hopefully you guys don't have this open. Hang on. What am I going to do? How do I do this? Okay, there. Okay, got it. Okay, here's the next one. Ready? Let me go back to the Z chart. 20% significance. 40. Stop. 20% significance. What's the amount of confidence? 80%. 20% significance. If there's 20% significance, what would we look up on the Z chart?
10%.
Very good. Let's repeat that. If this is 80% in the middle, that means the ends are 20%, but there's an even amount in each tail, which means this tail, which is on that Z chart, is at 10%, half of 20. 20%, both of them add together, so this is 10%. We're going to look up 0.10. So I'm looking up 0.10, .0. No, is it 0.10? 0.10. Well, it is 0.10. I got to scroll down then. Hang on. There we go. Look at the bottom there. Hang on, there's point on there, oh, right above, right there. See to the left of my cursor there? 0.1003 is as close as we're gonna get. So what's my Z? Hang on, 80% confidence, 20% significance, 1 point, help me out. 2, what? What do you think's up there? I forgot what's at the top. Is it a 0 or, oh, it's an 8. 8, hang on, where's 1.0 again? 0.10. Oh, there it is, right there. Okay, right next to my pointer, right there. This is, what is it again? 1.28. That's what Z equals for 80%. Do you think you can do this? Now, here's the deal. If you download the PowerPoint, go to slide 12, there they are. This is the slide I'd have ready for the first quiz. So I don't have to whip that Z chart out. I have them all right here. Odds are the question's gonna be asking about 80% confidence, 90% confidence, 95%, 98%, 99%, 99.8%, or 99.9% confidence. Or I may say the significance, where, oh, it doesn't have the significance up there. Darn. The significance would be the opposite, 20% significance, 10% significance, 5% significance, 2% significance, 1% significance, but there's your Z. Remember we did the 80%, we got 20% significance, 10 in each tail, 1.28, there it is, 1.28. We did 90%, no, I'm sorry, we did 95, 5%, so 2.5% in each tail, 1.96. Everybody see it? I think we'll stop there. How's that? That's what we're going to pick up then on Thursday to prepare you for the homework that's due the following Tuesday. I will see you then. Anybody forgot to sign in, please sign in now.